Welcome back to a new video in the Weightlifting.Ai series. This is the end of the first week of 8, and it went pretty well in different ways. So the workout wasn't supposed to be as intense as I made it, but because it's Saturday, I want the workouts to be intense. And I apologize, I was leaning back in my chair if you hear those noises. But I wanted the workout to be intense because it is Saturday, and I want Sundays to be treated more as a recovery and kind of like, I guess, a rehab type day. So not just stretching and sitting around doing nothing, but actively doing stuff that will hopefully help me throughout the week. And I will say that doing a lot of the stretching and the rehab stuff that I have been finding online through a variety of resources, like the Squat University type stuff is the easy one. A lot of people like to use, and I like to use as well. I'm finding some of that stuff to kind of add into different workouts or at the end of workouts as accessory work has seemingly been able to help. The effect is not going to be acute in 1 week. It's going to be something that's going to have to be consistent over a while, but I feel like it's been helping. That along with just doing a program is also probably helping as well. But for snatches here, I was doing all of them without straps just to make it more challenging on this day. And because I was at the gym, I was able to use a training bar, so it makes it a little bit easier to do that. It's definitely, as you see there, I was kind of looking at my thumb, and it's not, thankfully, the skin that's getting messed around. It's the tape that'll eventually kind of sweat off my thumb, in which will affect my turnover tremendously. So for this set here, actually, you can kind of see on my left hand, I put tape on the palm of my hand because the pad below my ring finger was starting to get sore. And so I put the tape on there, and then the next one I put tape back on my thumbs. It's kind of annoying to do that, which is why I don't like doing a lot of reps in the snatch without straps on, because you end up using a lot of thumb tape and stuff. Otherwise, you're just kind of distracted by the pain of your skin just kind of getting grinded off. But I think it's something that will slowly get better if I do it more frequently, especially when I'm at the gym and I have the training bar that will protect my hands a bit more because the knurling's not as aggressive. So I want to do that a bit more, not all the time, because no matter what, if you do it doubles in the snatch frequently without straps, you'll just kind of get hands that hurt all the time. So I don't know, maybe like twice a week, and then if there's a day with singles, of course, just do them without straps, which I know next week there will be. But the 105 set, I missed the second rep on the first one. Is that one here? Yeah, I was just out in front, and you see they're kind of drifted off there, but it always looks a bit more exaggerated to the left side when it's out in front, because that's usually the side that is a bit slower as far as the turnover. The second one I was able to do, the first or second attempt of it, then went up to 115. I missed both of them, really. The first one I could have probably ran out if I was desperate enough for it, but at this juncture of training, it's not one I'm trying to run around with 115 because it's not a max PR weight. But if that was 140, I'm going to be running that bad boy around the gym to try to stabilize it. But it's fine. It's a good first week and a good indicator that I've done enough training throughout the week to make myself tired for these weights. I'd be a little concerned if I got to the end of this week after doing all the work that I had done and I'm just smashing through the weights and getting up to like really high percentages. It wouldn't really make any sense from a biological standpoint, and it would probably mean that I just didn't work hard throughout the week, or there's some other weird substance that fell into my body throughout the week. But you guys kind of see my general week-to-week training, so you would know if for some reason if I got tainted supplements or something, if I'm just starting to smash all these weights. You're like, you're recovering significantly better than you were before. But it's one thing that's always nice with having the big catalog of training that I do, is like you can see the progress over the years. There hasn't been a moment where there was some sort of like rapid progress where suddenly all my acne is just like all over my body and I'm just doing insane numbers that I've never done before. But that's the life I lived, the natural life, which is, I think, better just because you don't have all those side effects. And I'm not going to the Olympics, even if I jumped on all of that snozzle. But anywho, I'm getting a little distracted. Let's focus on these clear jerks. So the first set here was at 130, then it went up to, or was the first set 110? I think it was 110, then I went to 130. So the first technical working set was 110, then 130, then 140 for two singles. And it wasn't supposed to be this heavy, but I changed the original exercise from, it was no hook, no feet, snatch plus jerk, to just regular clean and jerk because it's Saturday and I wanted to go a bit heavier anyway. And obviously with a no hook, no feet, you're kind of limited. Although I think I have done 140 with a no hook, no feet before. I think 140 might be my PR in a clean, or at least I feel like I've tried it. It's very difficult, definitely for a no foot, but for the no hook, I think 140 might be the limit because I feel like I've tried like 145 and it just doesn't work after that with the no hook portion of it. But after that, had some front squats. They were supposed to be sets of 4 that started at 130. because we're on heavy Saturday, I pushed up to 140 for the first set. So I did a set of 4 here, and then after this I threw on the belt and 20 more kilos and tried to do a set of 4. Really tried to do a set of 5, to be honest, but after I was doing like the first 2, I was hoping to do a set of 4, and I failed on the 4th rep. But still, a triple with 160 is good, and then I went up to 175 and was hoping to be able to do that for a double, which would only be 5 kilos below my best front squat double. I've done 180 one single time for a double, and if I get to that point where I'm able to do doubles with 175 plus, then that certainly is an indicator that my legs are in a really good shape. So I'll be really happy if I'm able to get back to that. That will certainly take a lot, probably several more weeks of a lot of front squats to be able to get up to that. But certainly a good indicator that I've done all this work throughout this week and I'm able to even think about attempting it. Because most of the time, if I'm doing like a 175 front squat in a normal time of training, I'm not really like, I do the rep, but I'm like, there's no thought in my mind of maybe I can do a second one. But I kind of had that plan, and I think if I went in fresh into the session and just did singles in the front squat all the way up to that, I might have had a better chance of that. But it's a heavy percentage of just general front squats for me. Oh yeah, this is the 300 I did. I almost talked through that about front squats, but this is the second heaviest deadlift I've ever done in my life. 302 is still my PR. I don't know if I will really be able to push above that when I'm getting into this training, but it is fun to do, and that's kind of what Saturdays are for, and kind of go a bit buck wild with your lifting. And same with the bench press. Like, this wasn't programmed in, but I added that in. Of course, the deadlift there wasn't, because they don't have deadlifts in the app. They only have clean pulls, which I think is a bit silly. I think they should add a clean deadlift specific exercise in, if for nothing else, so I can just add in separate deadlift reps, because obviously the 260 and the 300 that I did there for the deadlifts were not clean pulls, but there's no other way to add them into the app. And obviously you want to put them into the app if you're doing a 300 kilo pull, so the app knows that you did something really heavy at least. But here's 120 in the bench press. I was really happy with how this moved, and part of me wanted to move up, but I was also happy I didn't have my wrist wraps on. Pleasantly surprised. I didn't pause the reps. I think I'm going to go back to just doing like normal, not really go back. I've never really done like a lot of just regular bench press where you don't pause, but because I'm not doing like a powerlifting competition, or I don't ever really want to, I'll just do regular bench press where I'm not trying to pause at the bottom, and it will certainly make the weights feel a little bit easier, so maybe be able to push up a little bit more. I don't have a direct goal with the bench press. I just want to be able to get more weight each week as I can, or at least to where it feels like it's safe and I'm able to. I don't really want to push to an absolute max on the bench press, because I don't really want to bother getting a spot. Not that I obviously don't think a spot would be bad, but I don't want to push that hard with a bench press. I don't think it's that crazy good for weightlifting, but also at the same time, I don't think it's that bad. But if I'm trying to push up crazy heavy weights, then I think that's where it become a detriment. After the bench press, I did some face pulls and some external rotators with the cable. Nothing that was really too intensive, but just got a little bit of a pump in the upper back and the traps and whatnot before I left. But yeah, really productive first week of training. I'm really happy with generally how things went. Obviously, yeah, it would have been nice to hit that 115, but that was definitely an aggressive jump, and I took that because I knew that if I hit 110, which I was pretty confident about, that I would want to go up, and I just didn't want to take another jump, which is usually a good indicator that you're not really prepared, or at least like you have the energy levels. If you're like, all right, I just got to take a big jump in order to be able to even like take a crack at this. But Saturdays, I think I'm going to continue to make them be heavy. Although I say that, but next week might be the exception. So next week is like heavy almost every day, and I'll talk more about that probably in a Sunday workout. But the Friday, I think, is going to be a really heavy day, and Saturday is a bit lighter. But because school, I'll save that for another video. I'll talk more about that on the Sunday recovery video, which will not be a Weightlifting.Ai specific video, of course, because it won't be anything that's in the app, but it will just be stuff I'm doing out in the shed, and I'll do, I don't know, just maybe a mic'd up video talking about the next week of training. But I've recorded this commentary a couple different times. There's enough blank space at the end. I apologize for that. I'm too rambly. But with that being said, I'll talk to you on the next video. Peace.